Doesn't it kind of feel to anybody else like history is repeating itself? The economy feels like, I don't know, spring of 1929, and the debate over your gun rights feels like 1939. That's the last time the Supreme Court addressed the constitutional right to bear arms.
The U.S. Supreme Court, it might be hard to believe, but not once in the history of this republic has the court ever said what the Second Amendment's right to bear arms means.
Nice to see you, my friend. How are you, Stephen? Woo! Woo!
Happy Gun Day, John!
Both sides of the gun control issue were on display as the U.S. Supreme Court takes up a landmark Second Amendment legal battle over the right to keep and bear arms. The case before the High Court is the District of Columbia versus Heller. The question in the case is whether the D.C. government has the right to prohibit the possession of handguns by its citizens. D.C. Mayor Adrian Fenty.
As mayor of the District of Columbia, more guns anywhere in the District of Columbia is going to lead to more crime, and that is why we stand so steadfastly against any repeal of our handgun ban.
Since the mid-1970s, Washington, D.C. has banned the private possession of handguns. The case also takes wider aim at the issue of whether the Constitution affords Americans the broad right to bear arms, or whether that right is restricted to, quote, well-regulated militias, as specified by the nation's founders. The law faced a barrage of skeptical questions from the U.S. Supreme Court's conservatives. Chief Justice John Roberts asked whether a total ban on gun possession could be construed as reasonable in light of the language of the Constitution.
Today, a majority of the court seemed to agree that owning a gun is an individual right.
The amendment says we reaffirm the right to have a militia. We've established it. But in addition, there is a right to bear arms.
Some sympathize with the city's desire to control street crime by banning handguns.
Why isn't a ban on handguns a reasonable or a proportionate response on behalf of the District of Columbia?
But several justices said the district went too far.
What is reasonable about a total ban on possession?
Clark Neely is the lawyer for plaintiff Dick Anthony Heller.
It's important to know, and I think the Supreme Court will hopefully tell us, the Constitution does not end at the borders of the District of Columbia. The citizens of Washington, D.C. enjoy all of the constitutional rights that every citizen enjoys, including the right to keep and bear arms.
From this particular argument, I do not see a majority of this court invoking the Constitution in a way that has been sought by the gun lobby, by the pro-gun community for many years, as a weapon against reasonable gun laws.
The court's ruling is expected by the end of June.